Of course, I will not agree.
No po, I would not agree.
For me, I would feel disrespected and uncomfortable.
No, kasi hindi ko alam kung ano ang kinalalabasan niyan.
For me, it's depend. Kasi my life is so important.
Let's go back in time to a world where choice didn't exist, where doctors in power decided who would live and who would suffer in the name of science. This was not fiction. This was history. Imagine a world where your body is not your own, where science is not a beacon of healing, but a weapon of cruelty. Between 1939 and 1945 on World War II, a medical experiment was conducted inside Nazi concentration camps. Prisoners, men, women, and even children, were stripped not only of their freedom, but of their humanity. They were told nothing. They were given no choice. They were used as material for experiments. Some were plunged into tanks of ice-cold water, gasping until their bodies stiffened, just to test how long a soldier might survive in freezing seas. Others were sealed inside pressure chambers, forced to endure suffocating drops in oxygen until their hearts stopped, all in the name of high-altitude warfare. Chemicals and poisons were injected directly into their veins, leaving them writhing in agony without hope of relief. Women were subjected to forced sterilizations, their future families stolen before they could even exist. Every experiment was done without consent. Every procedure ignored their suffering, and for many, the cost was their lives. These were not isolated events. They were systematic, calculated, and repeated, thousands of times. By the end of the war, countless people had been mutilated, scarred, or killed. And the world was forced to confront a question it had never asked before. If science could create such horrors, how could it ever be trusted again? In 1947, inside a courtroom in Nuremberg, Germany, doctors who once held unchecked power were finally called to account. The evidence was overwhelming. The testimonies were chilling. And out of the ashes of these crimes, something new was born. A code that declared for the first time in history that human dignity must never again be sacrificed in the name of science. They called us subjects, not people. We were stripped of our dignity. I never gave permission. Our suffering was their experiment. We had no voice. Our lives were disposable. We were treated worse than animals. In 1947, 10 principles were declared. 10 rules that would change science forever. First, the voluntary consent of the human subject is essential. The person must have the capacity, the knowledge, and the freedom to decide. Second, research must aim for fruitful results for society, answers that truly matter and cannot be obtained by other means. Third, every experiment must be grounded in prior studies, animal research or scientific reasoning, never reckless guesswork. Fourth, experiments must avoid all unnecessary physical and mental suffering. Pain is not a tool to be used carelessly. Fifth, no study should proceed where death or disabling injury is expected. unless those conducting the research are also willing to risk their own lives. Sixth, risks must never exceed the importance of the humanitarian problem being studied. Seventh, every experiment must have proper facilities, equipment, and preparations to protect participants against harm. Eighth, only scientifically qualified persons may conduct experiments with the highest skill and care. Ninth, the subject must have the freedom to withdraw at any time, without penalty, without fear. 10th, the investigator must be ready to end the experiment immediately if continuation risks injury, disability, or death. 10 principles, 10 safeguards. 1 promise: human dignity will never again be sacrificed in the name of science. The Nuremberg Code inspired the Declaration of Helsinki in 1964 and the Belmont Report of 1979. Every consent form signed today, every explanation you hear before a medical trial, all of it traces back to Nuremberg. The Nuremberg Code is not just history. It is a promise, written in the ashes of war, to protect human dignity in science for all generations.
From silence and shadows,
to voices and choices.
From abuse
To ethics.
from Nuremberg to now.
The Nuremberg Code became the foundation of modern medical ethics.
Would you still say yes, without consent?